those of you who are in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, guess what? There are people in their teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s who see baseball differently, who just see it as a game that needs to be improved. It needs to be sped up. It needs to actually work in the current society and the sports, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I got to tell you something. I watch a hockey game and I sit back in 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's done. And maybe it has overtime that is, without question, the most thrilling overtime in any professional sport. But I mean, then there's still baseball, who for years you sit back there and you watch the team for 2.5 to 3 hours. And maybe 3.5. Maybe 4. Oh, I'm sorry. But it got boring after a while. So you can't look me in the eye and say the game doesn't need to change. It does need to change. And not only that, here's something else that I absolutely love listening to and watching. When Rob Manfred got on WFAN radio in New York and talked about a number of issues, specifically when he talked about expansion and when he talked about realignment, I could just hear, see, feel the baseball heads exploding.
I would like to expand. I think 32 would be good for us. And, fundamentally, there's a lot of cities like to have Major League Baseball. When people want your product, you ought to try to, find a way to sell it to them. It's kind of basic. Number one. Number two, it does a ton of for us from a format perspective. You would realign. You would do it along geographic lines, which could alleviate a ton of the travel burden that's on players. Remember, we ask our players 162 times in 186 days. So most of the play between 162 and 186 travel, right? I mean, so you can eliminate a lot of that travel, make it less burdensome, which would be a great thing in terms of player health and safety. And if you play geographically, we get in a postseason, we have those 4 window days that I love, right? You get 4 baseball games in a day. It's awesome. But when you think about the fans in the individual markets, you always end up with, because of the way we're set up, you get Boston versus Anaheim in one of the early rounds. So you're either going to be too late for the fans in Boston or too early. So if you realign geographically, you would look more like other sports where you play up east into the World Series and west into the World Series. And that 10 o'clock game on the West Coast that sometimes is a problem for us becomes a primetime game on the West Coast for the two teams that are playing. So there's a lot of advantages to it.